Ever feel like someone's quietly circling, waiting for you to slip, so they can take what's yours? Not with a roar, not with open hostility, but with a smile, a nod, and hidden intentions. It's a strange thing, how the biggest threats don't always come charging at you. They creep in, they blend in, and by the time you notice, they've already taken a seat at your table pretending they belong there. This world isn't fair, and it was never meant to be. It's competitive, fast-moving, and brutal beneath the surface. Your progress, your peace, your position. They all look like open invitations to those who feel entitled to what you've built. And if you think you're safe just because you've been kind or loyal or hardworking, think again. There are people who don't care how much effort you've put in. They just want your spot, your attention, your influence, your identity. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire, understood this better than most. He faced enemies not just on battlefields, but in courtrooms, in private chambers, even within his closest circle. Envy disguised itself as loyalty. Flattery hid betrayal. And yet he stood tall, not because he fought back with noise, but because he remained anchored in something deeper. He didn't just react. He observed. He prepared. He guarded not just his position, but his peace. That's the kind of strength we need now more than ever. You don't need to fight every shadow. But you do need to know when one is creeping up behind you. These 5 signs aren't loud. They won't announce themselves. But they're real. They're subtle. And they're dangerous. If you catch them early, you keep control. But if you miss them, you might not even notice the shift until it's too late. Stay sharp, stay grounded. Because in a world full of watchers, the ones who smile the most might just be waiting to replace you. And that's exactly where it begins, with someone who's always watching. Not in an obvious way, not with binoculars or some cartoonish sneakiness, but with quiet eyes, with too much interest in what you're doing and not enough genuine joy when you win. You know the type. They don't miss a single detail of your life. They know where you're going, what you're working on, and who you're talking to, but they never say, "I'm proud of you." They never say, "You did great." At first it feels harmless, maybe even flattering. Wow, they're really paying attention, you think. But then you start to notice it. They ask a lot of questions, not to support, but to study. There's a big difference. Supporters celebrate you. They're happy when you're doing well. They cheer you on without needing to know every single step you took to get there. But the other kind, the ones you need to watch out for, they want the blueprint, they want the inside look, they want the formula, not to admire it, but to use it for themselves. It can show up in small ways. That friend who always wants to know your next move but somehow forgets to congratulate you when it works. That coworker who compliments your strategy, then tries to copy it and claim it as their own. That person who suddenly starts talking like you, dressing like you, thinking like you, but never once thanks you for the inspiration. That's not admiration. That's calculation. And it's dangerous. There's psychology behind this. Our brains are wired with something called mirror neurons. They help us understand each other, empathize, connect. But in the wrong hands, those same neurons can be used to imitate rather than appreciate. It's emotional mimicry. Someone sees your confidence, your calm, your progress, and instead of being happy for you, they try to become you. Not by asking for help, but by silently taking notes. This kind of behavior often comes from a place of hidden envy. They don't hate you exactly, but they do resent what you represent. Your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your peace reminds them of their chaos. And instead of doing the work to improve themselves, they try to find shortcuts through you. That's why they study you, because deep down they don't believe they can build it on their own. This is why the Stoics were big on silence. Not silence, as in ignoring people, but silence as protection, as power, strategic silence. You don't owe everyone your blueprint. You don't have to explain your dreams to people who only want to dissect them. As Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Let your actions speak, let your results talk for you. Let them wonder, but don't let them in. You don't need to become paranoid, just aware. Just watch how people respond when you win. Do they celebrate? Or do they shift? Do they lift you up or lean in too close, asking questions that feel more like quiet inspections? The difference is subtle but real. It's okay to keep some things to yourself. In fact, it's necessary. Not everyone deserves front-row access to your process. Some people need to stay in the audience. Not because you're arrogant, but because you're wise. Stoic detachment doesn't mean pushing people away. It means knowing where to draw the line. Because once someone has studied you long enough, they'll either support your rise or plot their version of it. The ones who truly care won't need to copy you. They'll cheer for you as they chase their own path. But the others, the ones who study without support, they've already told you who they are. You just have to believe it. So protect your peace, guard your goals, and remember, not every question deserves an answer. And once you've seen through the ones who study you too closely, you start noticing something else, a quieter kind of threat. It doesn't come with big drama or obvious attacks. It comes with smiles, with casual remarks, with little comments that sound like honesty, but feel like doubt. It sounds like, that's good, but, or, you got lucky, or even worse, must be nice. These are the people who don't cheer for your progress. They try to shrink it, not all at once, not directly, but little by little, word by word, win by win. You share something you're proud of and they act like it's no big deal. Like anyone could have done it. Like it doesn't really count. And if you're not careful, you start to believe them. That's the real danger. Not what they say, but how it slowly changes how you see yourself. Because the truth is, confidence doesn't always break. Sometimes it erodes. A few small hits, here and there. A little doubt mixed with every celebration. Until one day, you stop celebrating at all. You stop sharing your wins. You stop dreaming out loud. Not because your dreams changed, but because someone else's voice got too loud in your head. This is why Stoic thinkers like Seneca warned us to guard our minds. He understood something simple, but powerful. Not every opinion deserves a home in your heart. Just because someone says it doesn't mean you have to carry it. Seneca believed we should protect our inner world like a fortress. Strong, quiet, unshaken. Because once you let in too much noise, it becomes hard to hear your own truth. And here's the deeper insight. People downplay what they secretly want. It's not really about you. It's about them. Your progress reminds them of what they haven't done. Your success makes them uncomfortable with their own excuses. And instead of facing that feeling, they try to make you smaller, so they don't feel so far behind. It might come from a friend, a colleague, even family, people you thought would be proud of you. And maybe a part of them is, but another part, Maybe the louder part feels threatened. So they say things that seem harmless but hit deep. They call it honesty. You feel it as disappointment. But here's what you do with that. You don't shrink. You don't argue. You don't beg for validation. You use it. Let those words be the fire under your progress. Not to prove anything to them, but to stay true to you. Reaffirm your path. Remind yourself why you started. Your wins are not trophies to collect dust on a shelf. They're fuel. They show you what's possible. They prove you're capable. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Just because someone can't see your vision doesn't mean it's not real. Just because they can't clap for you doesn't mean you're not worthy of applause. Not everyone is supposed to understand your journey, and not everyone is meant to walk with you through it. So when they say you just got lucky, smile, because luck doesn't build discipline. Luck doesn't show up every day and do the work. You did that. When they say, that's good, but you, let them have their but. You have your because you showed up, because you didn't quit, because you earned it. And most importantly, don't let their smallness shrink your vision. The Stoic way isn't about shouting your worth. It's about living it so clearly you don't need to. Keep going. Keep building. And let your life be the loudest thing in the room. And once you've learned to stand firm when they downplay your wins, you begin to notice something even more unsettling. A shift in behavior that feels flattering at first, but quickly turns strange. It starts with curiosity. They ask questions about your work, your habits, your vision. You think they're inspired, maybe even supportive. But over time you realize they weren't learning from you, they were studying you, and now they're trying to be you. At first it's small things. They adopt your style, your phrases, your timing. They start showing up in the same spaces you've carved out for yourself. It feels like coincidence, until it's not. Because the next step always comes, competition. Suddenly, they're not. Just inspired by your journey. They're trying to outrun you on it, using your moves in your lane. It's a strange kind of betrayal, because they didn't take your spot with force. They tried to clone their way into it. It's not admiration. It's ambition wearing a mask. Imitation as infiltration. And if you're not careful, it can throw you off your center. You start questioning whether you should have shared what you did, whether being open made you vulnerable, whether you helped someone who only wanted to replace you. But this is where Stoic wisdom becomes a shield. Marcus Aurelius, a man surrounded by both followers and rivals, said something powerful. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In other words, don't become reactive. Don't let their tactics pull you out of your own rhythm. Let them copy. Let them chase. You keep evolving. See, people who copy are always behind. They need your moves to make theirs. They wait for you to take a step before they can take theirs. But real power comes from innovation, from staying ahead not by running faster, but by thinking deeper, by making moves no one saw coming, by not giving away the blueprint. This is where silence becomes strength. When you stop announcing every project, every idea, every win, you become harder to track. You move in peace, and they can't compete with what they can't predict. While they're busy copying your last step, you're already 3 steps into something new. That's how you protect your space, not through confrontation, but through evolution. And here's what most people miss. Those who compete by copying don't truly understand the work. They see the result, not the process. They mimic the surface but miss the soul. So while they try to outshine you with your own light, they'll burn out. because it was never their fire to begin with. This doesn't mean you stop helping others. Stoicism isn't about bitterness, it's about boundaries. Help those who seek growth, not shortcuts. Share with those who build with you, not those who build against you. You'll learn to feel the difference. It's in the energy, the questions, the intentions behind the admiration. And when you see someone copying you, don't panic. Don't spiral, just smile. Because if they're copying you, it means you're doing something worth copying. That alone is proof of your path. Just don't stand still. Keep growing, keep refining, keep showing up as the version of you they'll never be able to duplicate. Because it's not just what you do, it's who you are. Let them play catch-up. You focus on staying original. That's the Stoic way. Quiet, confident, forward. As you continue to evolve, learning to protect your space from imitators and competitors, there's another subtle yet dangerous sign to look out for. It's the kind of behavior that doesn't make your heart race, but it does make you question your sense of peace. You begin to notice little things slipping through the cracks, small tests of your patience, your time, and your boundaries. They might push deadlines or borrow things with no intention of returning them. Maybe they make lighthearted jokes about taking your place, but the more you pay attention, the more you realize there's a pattern. It's not just carelessness or bad manners, it's a deliberate test. They're trying to see how much they can get away with. And what's more troubling, if you don't react, you're teaching them that it's okay. When you let things slide without addressing them, you train them to expect that from you. Over time, these small infringements on your time and space add up. What starts as a slight nudge becomes a bigger shove, and before you know it, they've crossed a line you never set. But here's the thing. This is where you must draw a line in the sand. Boundaries are not just rules for others. They are acts of self-respect. They define how you expect to be treated, and they set the tone for your peace of mind. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught that our inner peace is something we must protect at all costs. We are the gatekeepers of our minds, and anyone who tests our boundaries is essentially testing our ability to maintain that peace. If you don't set clear boundaries, you risk letting people walk all over you. And the problem isn't just that they're disrespecting you, it's that you're disrespecting yourself by allowing it. Stoic wisdom teaches that we must take responsibility for our own peace. It's not about being harsh or confrontational, but about being firm. You must be clear about what is acceptable and what is not. And when someone crosses that line, you have to call it out. This doesn't mean you need to start every conversation with a confrontation. In fact, the power of boundaries often lies in the way you communicate them. Firm language, clear expectations, and the simple power of the word no can be all you need to reassert control. People who test your boundaries are often doing so out of their own insecurities or desires to dominate the situation. But when you respond with strength, they'll know exactly where they stand with you. Here's a real-life script for a situation like this. I value our connection, but I have standards I won't compromise. This isn't about being rude or shutting someone down. It's about making it clear that your peace and time are important to you, and you won't allow anyone to take them for granted. It's about being confident in who you are and what you stand for. You see, boundaries aren't just walls. They're protections. They protect your energy, your time, and your focus. When you set them, you're not just telling others what you will and won't accept. You're also telling yourself that you value yourself enough to enforce these limits. And that self-respect is contagious. The more you respect your own boundaries, the more others will follow your example. But don't be fooled by their attempts to push those boundaries. It's not personal. It's a reflection of their need to see how far they can go. The moment you let them test your boundaries and you don't react, you're teaching them that it's okay to disrespect you. So don't wait for them to push further. Don't let things slide. Stand firm in your expectations and guard your peace. That's the Stoic way. Not through confrontation, but through clarity and strength. As you continue to protect your space and boundaries, the final sign to watch out for is perhaps the most disheartening, because it involves those who, rather than supporting you, take a strange sort of joy in your failures. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to disappear when you're on top, but when you slip or face a setback, they suddenly appear ready to offer support? It's as if they're waiting for you to fail, so they can swoop in with their empty words. And the worst part is their energy feels off, like they're not genuinely concerned, but rather feeding off your misfortune. You may catch them pretending to check in, but their smile doesn't reach their eyes, and their words feel hollow. This isn't just a random coincidence. It's a clear sign that something deeper is at play. The Stoics were well aware of this kind of behavior. Marcus Aurelius, in his Reflections, often reminded himself to control what he could, and not to waste energy fighting shadows. The shadow here is envy, disguised as sympathy. These individuals find satisfaction in your struggles, even if they would never admit it openly. It's human nature for some to feel better about themselves when others fall short. They mask their joy in your failure as concern, but the underlying energy is toxic. So, what do you do when faced with this kind of behavior? The best response is to withdraw your access. Don't give them the opportunity to revel in your hardships. Guard your dignity fiercely and recognize that their energy is poison, not support. It's easy to feel the pull to defend yourself or to explain your setbacks, but remember, fighting shadows will only drain you. Instead, focus on what you can control, your own actions and responses. Do not let their negativity seep into your mindset. In moments like this, staying true to your Stoic mindset is crucial. Don't fight back with bitterness or anger, but don't engage with their toxic energy either. Recognize it and then let it go. Withdraw from the negativity they offer and move forward. Keep your peace intact, because their joy in your failure says more about them than it does about you. And as Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Don't let their shadows steal your light. Instead, keep your focus on what you can control and continue to rise above. When you start spotting these signs, it's easy to feel overwhelmed or even paranoid. But the Stoic response isn't about confronting these people emotionally or reacting impulsively. Instead, it's about responding strategically. First, create emotional distance. Don't let their actions control your emotions. They may try to disrupt your peace, but you have the power to guard your thoughts and reactions. As Marcus Aurelius would remind us, the external world can throw challenges our way, but how we choose to react is within our control. So, take a step back, detach from their energy, and reclaim your inner peace. Once you've established emotional distance, it's time to create physical distance as well. You don't need to continue engaging with people who subtly undermine you or make your life difficult. Focus on your own path, your growth and your journey. Let your actions, your discipline, and your success speak for themselves. You don't need to announce your worth or explain yourself to anyone. The noise around you, whether it's from those trying to undermine you or those who envy your success, will only fade when you keep your eyes firmly on your goals. Your spot is sacred. Your peace is your power. Protect it, nurture it, and never let anyone take it from you. People who try to claim your place or shake your confidence are merely distractions. The Stoic approach isn't to fight them head-on, but to continue living with integrity, discipline, and clarity. By staying true to your values and focusing on what truly matters, you show that nothing can shake you from your purpose. And the quiet strength of your resolve will be the loudest response to anyone trying to claim your spot. In the end, it all boils down to this. Let them watch, let them plot, but never let them take your spot. There will always be people who try to undermine you, to test your boundaries, or even celebrate your setbacks. But none of that should deter you. You're not here to compete with anyone else. You're here to conquer yourself. Your journey is unique, and your path is yours to walk. Don't waste energy worrying about those who would try to take what you've earned or disrupt your peace. Stay focused on your own growth, and let your actions speak louder than any words or distractions. Remember, being stoic isn't about denying that these challenges exist. It's about how you respond. The world will throw obstacles your way, and people may try to take advantage of your success or disrupt your peace. But what they cannot control is your mind. They cannot control your focus, your discipline, or your resolve. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and always stay true to who you are. When you stay stoic, you hold the power. You guard your peace, protect your spot, and let your path be one of strength and clarity. Don't allow anyone to shake your foundation or make you question your worth. The more you stay grounded in your own purpose, the less those around you will affect your journey. Let them watch, let them plot, and let them try. But they will never be able to take your spot as long as you remain steadfast in your conviction. So, as you move forward, keep this in mind. Your spot is sacred. Your peace is sacred. Protect with everything you have. Let nothing or no one derail your focus or cause you to stray from your path. Keep growing, keep improving, and most importantly, keep conquering yourself. With every step you take, you show the world that no one can claim your place and your strength is undeniable. Stay stoic, stay sharp. The world may test you, but it will never take what's yours.